When we think of goods being imported from China, we usually think of furniture, clothes, electronics, not steam engines. But our next railway has the distinction of importing the last commercially produced steam locomotive in the world. And where it operates today may surprise you even more. The Boone and Scenic Valley Railroad is located in central Iowa, about a 50-mile drive north from the state's capital, Des Moines. In a state where corn has always been in the foreground, the Boone and Scenic Valley Railroad shifts the focus to another aspect of Iowa's legacy, its deep railroad history.
This was Iowa's longest electric railroad, and I had taken several rail fan trips on it. And I was aware of the bridges, the scenic potential of it, not knowing if we'd fail or not, or whether we'd make a success out of it.
Beginning in 1983, a group of business leaders coupled an idea with a wave of public support and started the Boone and Scenic Valley Railroad. They saved 11 miles of the old line that was part of the Fort Dodge, Des Moines, and Southern system. The idea was to represent all three forms of locomotive power: diesel, steam, and electric. Electric was already in place in the form of a working trolley system that was, and still is, the quaint way to get around town. Diesel was here too. Steam, on the other hand, looked like a long haul financially.
We had a couple of engines here, but both of them were probably $1 million restoration.
The Boone and Scenic Valley needed a creative solution and found one in a 1988 issue of National Geographic magazine.
There, opening up the pages, there's a brand new steam engine under construction. I didn't know they were still building steam engines anywhere in the world, and this was the last factory building steam engines.
Just one hitch. The factory was in China.
And a couple of our members went over to China, looked it over, and made arrangements to purchase it.
The Chinese factory sent a delegation of people to Boone to assist with the startup.
Well, the reaction from the press and from everybody was quite astonishing. They just really didn't believe there'd be a steam engine made in China come to this country.
Once the engine arrived, everyone wanted to see it. A special platform was built to allow folks to get up close and personal with the locomotive and its crew.
The similarities between this locomotive and an American locomotive greatly outweigh the differences. And the big difference, which may be obvious to you, is that the engineer is on the left side and the fireman is on the right side.
The other thing is that it's very unique in being the last commercially produced steam locomotive in the world. For a museum in rural Iowa to have such a thing is, I think, just really a very unique situation.
Many people don't realize that eastern Iowa is not as flat as a pool table like they expected. This tightrope of track sits 156 feet above the floor of the Scenic Valley. This is the view you get from one of the highest steel railroad trestles in the United States.
Going over the bridge, that was pretty awesome. Looking straight down like there was nothing underneath it. It's a long ways down, but I saw it on newspapers and magazines and stuff, but get to see it for real. It was a lot of fun. I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
We've been across this bridge, I don't know how many, shall we say 1,000 times. And every time you look out and you just see this gorgeous countryside, and it's always a thrill. And it's beautiful out here any time of year.
If you want to combine the movement and pulse of a steam train without losing any of the feeling of the outdoors, your best bet may be to ride in one of the open-air cars.
I think this one, it's way better than in the carriage. It's just so tactile, you've got the soot landing on us, the smoke, the smells, you really get to get a sense of a little more of the speed and the scenery.
Oh, it's awesome. Matter of fact, going out from the station, I told him, I hope that this is around when he has kids that are his age, so that he could take his kids on this too. It's awesome.
There's a good reason the Boone and Scenic Valley has held up so well for over 30 years now.
I do appreciate all you guys do. We look around here today, we're running really 4 trains, 5 trains when we include the trolley.
Like most nonprofit organizations, their strength lies in their volunteers, and the Boone and Scenic Valley has an army of over 250, all with different skill sets, all with a passion to preserve and present this part of Iowa's railroad legacy. It's a love and passion the folks in Boone share not only by giving you some great rides, but also by offering you the opportunity to learn more about Iowa's railroading history at the James H. Andrew Railroad Museum and History Center.
There's so much here for folks to see and do. A lot of the older folks who come here, it brings back memories of when they remember that the interurban, say, was in Boone, or when the steam engines came through Boone. So it brings back a lot of memories for them, and it teaches the youngest children that there was a great railroad history here, and it still continues today.
What was started by a few folks that wanted to save a piece of Iowa's railroad history has now grown to become one of the premier rail attractions in the country.
Have a good trip, everybody. See you later.
We have to thank all the volunteers and staff at the Boone and Scenic Valley Railroad for giving us a place where we can learn and experience firsthand Iowa's railroading legacy. A place where young and old can travel in historic time capsules pulled by locomotives through a little slice of the American heartland.